Alright guys, this is a premature ejaculation video that I'm going to do, and I'm hoping that it's going to be really helpful for a lot of you guys and girls. As we know, a lot of people suffer from premature ejaculation, and as we know, as far as the women are concerned, it takes them generally 16 to 18 minutes to have a clitoral orgasm, which makes up about 95% of the female orgasms. And that's pretty hard to cope with, I guess, when you're a guy that either has premature ejaculation, whether it's in seconds or it's a minute or a minute and a half, whatever it is, or even on average. The average after penetration ejaculation is whatever it is, 5 to 7 minutes. There's quite a gap between that 5 to 7 minutes and the 16 to 18 minutes for her to be pleasured. So I'm going to try to help guys close that gap. And one of the ways I'm going to do it mainly is with discussing niacin. I'm going to try to make it quick because I'm doing this off the cuff like usual. My daughter's running around up top and whatever else. So I'm going to try to get it done real quick and give you my experiences. Fortunately, I've never experienced those issues even when I was young, and that had a lot to do with heart disease. But that's a bit of a different subject. But as you guys know, I've done my videos. I proudly practice, it's not like I tell everybody, but I'm doing it to help people. Proudly practice seminal retention with the things that I do in sexual transmutation. In my meditations, having to do with meditations and sacred secretion and stuff like that. And that's a very powerful tool to use, but it's powerful for a whole lot of reasons. But one of the main reasons I did seminal retention was mainly just for energy. Because as we know, when you ejaculate, you use a lot of energy. It takes a lot to process and build that sperm and to build that semen. So it's not like a lot goes into it. You're talking about creation there. That's life. And when that gets lost, as you guys know, a little hint of that is when you actually do ejaculate and you end up falling asleep half the time, right afterwards. I've never had that experience either, really, but I do know what it's like to get to feel the tiredness thereafter. So one of the things I think that can be powerful, and I know is powerful, is niacin. The reason I've taken niacin over the years is because most of you guys also know I've done videos for 10, 12 years now, whatever it's been, with PVCs, which are in arrhythmia and different heart problems. And I'm going to do some more videos on that soon, but niacin has been a critical help for that, just to deal with the histamine issues, H1, H2, H3, H4 receptor cells. Those are the histamines that are most common, and when you have histamine damage for whatever reason, from alcohol, from drugs, from poor diet, from whatever else, that can cause all kinds of havoc. And the reason I still take it today is because I love my chocolate. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do all that other stuff, but I still love my chocolate, and once in a while that'll give me heart flutters. If I take the niacin, which is nicotinic acid, this is niacin with flush, if I take that, I don't have any issues. It works great. And there's so many other things that niacin could and should be used for, like schizophrenia and other things. I've talked about those before. Abram Hoffer was a phenomenal doctor that wrote a book and did amazing work on niacin alone. A person needs to consider that. But back to premature ejaculation, the key is trying this. What you're trying to do basically is suppress the slightly, not necessarily suppress, but I'll use that word, suppress overactive or histamine mast cells that have become a problem. And when you get oversensitized, obviously that's when you get triggered to ejaculate. So this is the thing that I've found that within my taking this for many years and starting the practice of seminal retention years back, that taking this made quite a difference in the ease of seminal retention. What does that mean, seminal retention? Basically, that means you make love as often as you want, and you get to the point of ejaculation, but you don't ejaculate, but you still can orgasm. And most of you people are like, what the hell, how is that possible? Maybe we'll do another video on that, but you can probably look into Montauk Chi and some others on that. But you absolutely can have orgasms, whether it's a physiological one with muscle contraction, as we all know, or whether you have energy up your spine or whole body orgasm, or or all of the above, absolutely is possible. But we're kind of after right now, what we're talking about here is just trying to get something to where you can suppress some of that, so you can learn to take your time on your own to please her first, and to make sex more about making love than it is about sex. That's all too easy, it gives us a bad rap, us guys, like usual, and it's unnecessary. None of that. The men deserve it as much as the women. I mean, most men have no clue. They're taught a certain thing. They're taught to get her done and move on, and that's pretty sad for them and for others. And hopefully, I can make a little difference for somebody here. I only take probably 100 milligrams. Actually, I don't take it every day, but I take 100 milligrams a day. I mean, you can take far, far more than that. That's a pretty small dose. And what they say is, if you take a 200 milligram dose and you get a good flush from that, yet you probably have pretty serious histamine intolerance. And that's when you start looking up histamine intolerance and maybe going on histamine intolerance diet. The Histamine Chef, I think, is probably a good site you might want to visit. And she's got some good diet. I haven't been there for a couple of years, but she's got some good diets and stuff like that. She does a really good job. Hopefully she's still around. But so that's the Histamine Chef. But anyway, you're trying to suppress that so you can maybe hopefully build yourself up from that minute after penetration to 2, to 4, to 10, to 15, to 16 at that perfect peak spot for her, and then keep going all night long if that's what you guys want to do. And absolutely you can, of course. So hopefully that helps somebody. It's a very healthy thing to do. Of course, talk to your doctor if that's what you want to do, and you should. But niacin is incredibly safe. Nobody's ever died from a niacin overdose in the decades that it's been used, and I doubt it's going to happen now. But talk to your doctor, especially if you're on other kind of drugs. And to top it off, let me add, back to not only premature ejaculation but erectile dysfunction. I think you're going to find that on the other end of the spectrum, that's also a histamine issue, where there's not enough. But a lot of things can be done, because you just don't hear or see too many men that are healthy and not doing drugs and not doing dangerous supplements that have erectile dysfunction. I've actually never heard of somebody. Fortunately, in my life, even with congenital heart disease, I've never had any of those issues, but I do certain things that focus on reproductive health clearly, and that's what I'm going to hopefully try to pass on to the rest of you guys. And for all you young ones, and you dedicated to my lovely family in the Philippines and all those around here, hopefully I'm going to work with some YouTubers in the Philippines, but we got to do better and try to help those young men and women there as well to understand how precious making love and how precious all that is when it comes to children. We got a lot of things coming on in the next 10 to 20 years as far as shortages of energy and food and stuff like that, so we got to be a little more cognizant of how we do things. And seminal retention and the withdrawal method probably be a really good thing to start teaching our young ones. Okay, I'm going to end it at that, so thank you guys very much. Salamat.